Years of lies. Will and Jada deserve their failure. 28 years of lies. Holy shit. That looks like a that looks like something to get into.
Will and Jada Pinkett Smith were long romanticized in Hollywood as the perfect
Real.
couple. They
I don't
proved
even
that it's
know
possible
why.
for two people to be incredibly successful A-list
I thought
celebrities and
Jada
raise
Pinkett
a
Smith was
stable
always
family who all love
obnoxious.
each other. We now know that was all a lie. The Smith family was an image, carefully crafted to look like the perfect
I
family,
know,
while
that's
it
so
was an utter
scary,
mess on the
bro.
inside.
That's
And over
honestly so
the
terrifying.
past few years, all of their deepest secrets have been revealed
Out
to
your
the entire
fucking mouth.
world.
That's
Once you hear the
insane
full
to think
story, your
about.
opinions of Will and Jada might change. Because we are going to dive deep and look at
I used to
every
love Will
detail that
Smith,
built up to
chat.
one of the most
You
catastrophic,
see.
confusing, and preventable marriages of all time. Starting with the fact that Jada didn't want to be with Will in the first place. In 1994, Will Smith was married to his now ex-wife, Cherie Zampino.
What
They
the
also had a
fuck?
2-year-old son named Trey. But Will was spending a lot of time with actress Jada Pinkett despite having a wife and baby at home. Jada auditioned for a role in season 5 of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was arguably the most influential and popular 90s sitcom in history. The New York
What?
Times said The
Except
Fresh Prince
Tupac.
had put rap into the mainstream. Every week, nearly 20 million viewers tuned in to see Smith and the Banks family, with a quarter of the national television audience watching
Jeez.
at its peak.
That's
Jada auditioned to be
crazy.
Will's girlfriend, Lisa, and came close to booking the role but didn't because
Scary. What
producers
the
thought Jada
hell?
looked too short when sharing the screen with Will. The role ultimately
True.
went to Nia Long, who is just 2 inches taller than Jada. Will tried to approach Jada to console her. She shrugged him off, but he says it was love at
Damn.
first sight. The two say Will did not have an affair, but Will was head over heels for another woman that wasn't his wife.
Yeah,
We
that's
sat
pretty
down
much
at the
an
baked
affair.
potato and talked. There was
Me
a
too,
really
SB.
unique, beautiful power.
I
We had
love
that
Fresh
moment,
Prince.
and we connected, but I was married. Funny enough, this wasn't the first time Will fell in love with someone that wasn't his wife. He admits in his memoir that he fell in love with his co-star, Stockard Channing, while filming 1993's 6
What?
Degrees of Separation. Will's unfaithful tendencies are not that surprising considering he was a 6'2", 25-year-old
Right now,
movie
I
star,
will.
television star, and rap
Six
star,
foot
but it was an
two.
early sign that maybe marriage wasn't for him. Will
Star.
claims he never would have divorced his wife Cherie if she didn't initiate it first. We were at the Palm, and I remember I had to get up from
That's
dinner when I had a
crazy.
realization that I wasn't with the person I was supposed to be with. Will rushed to the bathroom in the Palm and broke down in tears. His marriage eventually reached a breaking point, and Cherie filed for divorce on Valentine's Day in 1995.
On
Cherie filed for
Valentine's
divorce,
Day?
rightfully. She called herself my placeholder wife. She said that she just had to be there to hold the position of wife in Will Smith's perfect life.
That's
The most
so
important takeaway
sad.
from this is
What
Will's
a gift.
willingness to remain in a marriage that he was not emotionally invested in for the sake of maintaining his image to the world. Something
That's
that would not change with Jada.
wow.
Jada obviously was interested in Will, but her own morality tried to
Sad.
convince him to fight for his family and make things work. However, Will proceeded with the divorce and contacted Jada the moment he signed the divorce papers,
Damn, he
saying,
did
"I
not
literally
wait."
walked right out from signing the divorce papers and I called Jada. I said, 'Hey Jada, what's up? It's Will.' She said, 'Hey, how you doing?' I said, 'Good. Are you seeing anybody?' She said, no. And I said, 'Cool. You're seeing me now.' Jada went along with it because her life was about to
Damn.
fall apart. Jada's mother, Adrienne, became pregnant in high school and gave birth to Jada at a very young age. Growing up in Baltimore,
Jeez,
Maryland,
that's
Jada witnessed
crazy.
her mother endure domestic abuse from her
What
father.
is that,
One night it got
Rids?
so bad that Adrienne temporarily fled from their home. Her parents' marriage was short-lived and they divorced after several months.
That's
As a
her
teenager struggling
parents?
to raise a child,
Why is
Adrienne
he
dealt
so
with a
old?
heroin addiction for most of Jada's childhood. I could tell when my mother was high. She couldn't make it on time to pick me up from school, or she's nodding off, falling asleep in the middle of something. Jada's environment and upbringing
Bring
led to her
home,
encountering
Riz.
drugs, becoming a dealer at just 14 years old. She was living a double life, going to Baltimore School for the Arts during the day and dealing at night.
I don't
Her
know if I
mother
believe
eventually
this
put her foot
story.
down and convinced Jada to clean up her act. Jada responded by graduating high school before enrolling at the North Carolina School of the Arts.
So here's one thing about Jada Pinkett Smith, bro. I think she's a liar, bro. I think she lies her ass off. And so, like, I don't know how many of these stories she's told people are true about her existence. Because I heard her say in this one interview clip that she was back when I was on the streets, I was selling the most crack. They called me the crack queen, and no one could move crack without me when I was 15 years old. Blah blah blah. I saw that interview and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, shut the fuck up. I agree. Like, bro, I literally heard her talk for like 5 minutes and just lie for 5 minutes straight about like this, like how she used to sell crack and she was a drug lord, crack lord and had all this money when she was in high school, but gave it up, you know, because it wasn't right. An attention seeker for real.
Parts. She dropped out of
Yeah, and then I don't think Tupac really fucked with her either.
college after 1 year to move to Los Angeles and pursue an acting career. Jada's talent and good looks landed minor roles in TV shows like 21 Jump Street and Doogie Howser MD, before producer Debbie Allen gave her a consistent role on A Different World, which blew her up. From there, she landed a reoccurring role on The Cosby Show.
She was on The Cosby Show?
The love interest in Menace to Society made her culturally beloved since hip-hop fans loved that movie.
I
Jada
loved that
successfully
movie, but
made
I
it out
didn't.
of the
I
struggle,
didn't.
but she
I loved that movie, but I didn't think she was super attractive.
was still not happy.
My career is
My pass.
popping. I got money. I'm hot.
People are pursuing you.
I got
Lying tabs. I'm so tired. Yep. My life. See, I don't see. The thing is, people who had all that shit, went through all that, and was happy, don't talk like this later on in life.
every dude everywhere wanting it. You know what I mean? Like, I can have anybody I want. Why am I not happy?
This is when Will came along, and she latched onto him hoping that he would make her happy again. At that time, Will hadn't finalized
Good
his
night,
divorce
Izzy.
with Cherie, meaning he and Jada kept their relationship under wraps. We were both pretty famous and we felt like it just wouldn't have been a great look. They indulged in an unpredictable, secretive rendezvous that sounds like it was taken straight out of a movie. The couple traveled to exotic secret getaways, from Cabo to private Caribbean
That's
islands,
crazy.
Aspen, and secluded estates in Maui.
Aspen.
Capitalizing on his success on The Fresh Prince, they took advantage of private air travel and regularly used aliases to check into hotels. We fit together
What
so
the
naturally,
fuck?
and our energies combined exponentially in a way that felt like old friends more than new lovers. We had an unspoken language, and everything we focused on flourished. This romantic, adventurous fling would come to a screeching halt whenever the marriage conversation popped up. Jada didn't believe in a conventional marriage and despised a traditional ceremony.
Damn.
She also had questions about the viability of monogamy as a framework for a successful long-term relationship. Despite the obvious warning sign of trying to settle down with a woman who does not want to, Will did not let
Damn.
that stop him. From an early point in their
She's
relationship,
not into
their
monogamy.
suitability was
Red
questionable at
flag.
best. But now Jada was pregnant, and Will's determination to get married
Oh, yeah.
overpowered Jada's personal beliefs. I never wanted to get married, Jada revealed. But my mother was like, you have to get married. She's so old school, and Will wanted a family. So I said, alright, maybe it's something I should do. Even Jada's grandmother called Will and cried her freaking eyes out. So then I had to have a wedding, and that was infuriating. According to Will, Jada
Damn,
held her
what?
ground as long as she could.
I
but the
would
wedding
want to
pressure
marry.
likely
I would want to marry someone who was saying that and didn't want to marry me. Like if I was Will Smith, I'd be like, all right, bitch.
family and friends
No.
became too much. She was in her second trimester, she was tired and uncomfortable, and didn't want to argue, so she surrendered. And the couple married
That
on
is
New Year's
pretty
Day
scary.
in 1997 in a private ceremony in Baltimore, Maryland. However, everyone at the ceremony seemed ecstatic, besides the bride.
And I was so upset that I had to have a wedding. I
Yeah.
was so pissed.
We
Went crying down the freaking aisle.
getting married.
Getting married. Cried the whole way.
Bro, look at her daughter. She's just like forced to marry.
The aisle.
I was like,
And Will was like, hey!
hey.
I'm like,
She'll be all right, don't
what
worry.
I do?
Jada referred to the ceremony as Grammy's wedding
That's
because Jada's grandmother was
embarrassing.
more excited than her. While the event itself was joyful and heartwarming, this
That's
would be the first of
embarrassing,
many
bro. I wouldn't admit
compromises
that.
Jada would
What a
make over the
Mac.
years that
Damn.
painfully negated her own values. She had boarded the Will train, and there was no way off.
cute,
but why
yeah.
was she so
I
against
whip my
the
hair
idea
back
of
and forth. I
marriage?
whip my hair
Just
back and forth.
never really agreed with
Did you see Mac? What you been
the
up to?
construct.
Exactly.
I just don't agree with it. I never have. I still don't.
Yeah.
Till Death Do Us Part is real for me. It's just all of the rules and
Poor Will, bro.
It's like
of the
you're supposed to do this
ideas.
Right.
as a wife. You're
you
supposed
know,
to do this.
yeah,
As a husband, you're supposed to do this.
Instead of
Right. And
really
what you
just
can't do.
Exactly.
And what you can't do, right, absolutely.
Because of this title, wife is a
The
very
defi- the-
difficult.
the accepted conventional
conventional definition
of a
of
wife.
wife.
So
Right.
she's
the
tired of her
paradigm- and the
parents.
paradigm.
What are
of
they
that.
even
Will
yapping
goes on to say
about?
why he wanted to marry
Did you watch
so
this on
badly.
TV?
I don't know if I've ever said this.
Just
You
yapping,
know how
yapping.
I'm a scientist, so everything is science for me.
Yes.
I read something when we first got together that the most successful men in history have been married.
Right.
I knew that I would squander my life if I was running around.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way my mind works, I can only excel for a woman.
When the woman who does not believe in the basic fundamentals of a marriage gets
Huh?
coerced to marry a man who
Impulsive
only
liar,
wants a
that's
wife so he
crazy.
doesn't derail his perfect career, what could possibly go wrong?
That
I'm
didn't
having
really
a lot
make
of
too
fun
much
playing
sense to
fantasy
me.
sports these days, and that's not just think your pick
Fuck this
commercial week.
ad.
Underdogs, pick up the link below. Promo code Elmore and Christopher Sire Smith your team and make your own picks with Underdog. The couple welcomed their son, Jaden Christopher Sire Smith, on July 8th,
Jaden
1998,
Smith.
and their daughter, Willow Camille Rain Smith, on October 31st, 2000. The perfect couple now has the perfect family.
Dang, Willow
a
Smith's
little
a
boy and a little
2000
girl.
baby.
Will continue to dominate Hollywood with hits like Men in Black and
Oh,
the
yeah.
Bad Boy series, as well as Ali and I, Robot.
Yes.
But Will's perfect family needed the perfect home, a 256-acre mansion that Will desired but Jada
God
despised. She expressed
damn.
how it was too big, too expensive, and too much space. But Will's dreams couldn't be compromised, and he bought it anyway. Nothing good comes from spending your hard-earned money on a family home that your wife doesn't want. You are putting a down payment on discord, and for years you will be paying off a mortgage of misery, or worse. From the moment he stepped foot in
Jeez.
Hollywood, Will made a deliberate effort to become the biggest movie star in the world,
Too
and he
much to
did
be
achieve
honest,
one of the
2000s.
most
I
commercially
mean, yeah,
successful
for
runs
sure.
in cinema history. Independence Day, Men in Black, Hancock,
Nah,
I Am Legend,
Will
Hitch,
Smith
Shark
is
Tale,
definitely
Pursuit
one of the
Happiness
biggest,
are just a few of the
best
multiple
actors of all
$100 million
time.
franchises he starred in. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had truly transformed into the king of Hollywood, but his legacy extended beyond the silver screen. He ventured into producing films through his production company, Overbrook Entertainment, and continued to push the boundaries
Will
of his
Smith
acting
is
career.
awesome. I
Will
love Will
became
Smith
widely regarded
movies.
as a highly skilled and versatile actor. His acting abilities earned him
He
critical
really
acclaim,
did.
numerous
He came
awards
out of
and
Fresh Prince and he really was like a versatile actor, bro. Just
nations and a massive fan following all over the world. By the
love
2010s,
that.
Will
I
had
loved I
solidified
Am
his
Legend
name
too.
as one of the greatest actors of his generation. Jada and Will were seen as a beacon of real love in this chaotic industry, yet
That's
Will's career
sad.
outshined hers so much that she was starting to be known as just Will Smith's wife,
Yeah,
which
bro,
is kind of what
honestly.
he wanted. Jada only appeared in low-budget films and Will's music
Awesome.
videos until landing more substantial roles as
The
Niobe
Wild
in the
Wild
Matrix
West.
series
They're always
and
so
Gloria
good.
in
I
Madagascar.
forgot she was in
To
the
make the
Matrix,
resentment
bro.
even stronger, Jada's children were becoming superstars in their own right. Willow's music career started off on fire with Whip My Hair peaking at number 11
That's
on the Billboard Hot
crazy.
100.
That peaked at
Jaden
number
starred in
11.
two massive box office hits, The Pursuit of Happiness and The Karate Kid. In 2009, Barack Obama accepted his Nobel Peace Prize, which was presented by the Smiths, and the only interview he would do was with Will and Jada.
Externally, our family was winning. And there was a period, mommy woke up and cried 45 days straight. I started keeping a diary.
You missed some days.
It was every morning. I think that's the worst I've ever felt in our marriage. I was failing miserably.
What?
But on the outside, I was winning.
That's so scary.
But all of the money, fame, and success came at the
The
cost
fuck?
of deteriorating their relationship. In his memoir, Will detailed
With
he and
Jackie
Jada's greatest
Chan.
argument that stemmed from a list of priorities each wrote
Bro,
independently,
X.
then shared with one another. In order of importance, Jada's priorities were the children, Will, herself, and extended family and friends. On the other hand, Will wrote himself, Jada, the children, and his career. Jada was devastated to read Will prioritize himself over Trey, Jaden, and Willow. He explained that if he doesn't take care of himself first, he couldn't provide for the rest of his family. But the damage was
Oof.
already done. Her heart was shattered. She didn't even wipe the tears.
Happy
Jada stuck
relationship.
around in this marriage that she never wanted in the first place so long because of her kids and the pressure to maintain the image created around the Smiths. On one hand, I wanted a
Damn.
career. I'd worked so hard and yet there I was, strung out on having to make decisions based on that, and it was too difficult. Should I be a star? Should I be a mom? A wife? You can't be all three. Something has to give.
Damn.
Did you ever feel like Jada was ungrateful?
Hell yeah.
Look at everything that I've done for you.
Yes. That was another
You
thing.
ungrateful.
But
Yeah.
that was the other thing, because there were times I felt ungrateful. Because I was like, look at your life.
Yes.
How could you be so unhappy? I used to think I was crazy.
Even Will's children realized they
What
were
do you
failing.
guys
Will
think?
recalled a moment where he was eating ice cream in the kitchen with his daughter and wife. Willow turned to Jada and said, "It's so sad. Daddy has a picture of a family in his mind, and it's not us."
Bro, what's the most sad and terrifying thing about this is like how much information is out about this family. Like why? Why they do so many interviews? Why are they telling people all this shit? They don't, he didn't, I guess. I guess he did, but didn't. Damn.
This unstable relationship could not last, and in 2011, they reached a tipping point. In August 2011, rumors began that Jada was having an affair with Mark Anthony, her co-star on Hawthorne. At the time, Anthony was the subject of many tabloids following his public separation from Jennifer Lopez. However, Jada's rep released a statement saying, all of the rumors regarding Mark Anthony and Jada are false.
The fuck is Mark Anthony?
That finally broke the camel's back was during Jada's 40th birthday celebration. Will had started prepping for Jada's 40th 3 years earlier. He invited hundreds of guests, friends, family, other celebrities.
Are they talking about August Alsina?
In Santa Fe, New Mexico. Mary J. Blige performed, and the guests were in awe of this beautiful celebration Will curated. But the 3-year-long surprise was a documentary Will made tracing Jada's family lineage back to slavery. Will resurfaced unseen pictures, found family members, and found a recording of her late beloved grandmother that she and her family had never heard before.
What the
These
fuck?
were very deep and personal messages from her grandmother that he broadcasted to hundreds of people at the party. The entire place is in tears. Her family, my family, everybody. All except Jada. She sat motionless, refusing to make eye contact with me. The video ends. Family and friends erupt in a standing ovation. That night, Jada demanded that they cancel the rest of the weekend. Will said no, and she finally erupted.
I'll cancel tomorrow. She was like, it's my birthday. Yeah. Right? And she's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego.
Ooh.
Crushed, right?
Robert,
and
though.
to this day, I know I was crushed because it was true.
Yeah.
It wasn't a party for her.
Yeah.
And
That's
when
crazy.
she called me on that's when I snapped. And
Years later, Will admits he wasn't doing this gesture for Jada, but at the time he couldn't understand what he may have done wrong. When they returned to Los
that's still
Angeles,
pretty
they separated,
crazy.
and he said to Jada, I retire from trying to make you happy. You are free. You need to go make yourself happy and prove to me that it's even possible. But I quit. You go do you, and I'ma go do me. They didn't file for divorce, and they didn't announce to the public that they were separated, which would cause confusion for years to come. According to Will, he and Jada didn't reunite romantically until November 2016, which would mean that they were technically separated from September 2011 to November 2016.
That's
Will and
crazy.
actress Margot
5
Robbie
years.
began working together on the set of the crime drama Focus. Insiders claimed Will and Margot were getting close on set, even skipping the wrap party to hang out in Will's trailer. Star magazine added fuel to the fire, reporting a photo booth incident where Will appeared shirtless, and Margot lifted her shirt to reveal lingerie. According to the source, Will appeared as if he was not married. The public assumed he and Margot were either having an affair.
Yeah, this picture right here kind of looks sus.
That he and Jada were in an open relationship. We now know that he and Jada were separated. And in 2013, Jada responded to the rumors, almost letting the cat out of the bag. He can do whatever he wants because at the end of the day, Will is his own man. This statement further confused the public, who took it as confirmation of an open relationship. Jada later rewrote her statement on Facebook saying, "Here's how I will change my statement. Will and I both can do whatever we want because we trust each other to do so. This does not mean we have an open relationship. This means we have a grown one." Margot addressed the rumors on Twitter. There's absolutely no truth to the ridiculous rumor in Star Mag. It's disappointing that goofing around on set could be taken so out of context.
So I'm a huge Margot Robbie fan, so I thought this was fake too.
Their relationship remained estranged behind the scenes, but in public, Will and Jada continued showing up to red carpet events and award shows together hand in hand. To make things even more confusing, she said this on Queen Latifah's show in 2014.
Jada would come into my trailer and tell me, girl, she was in love.
Yes. And
With
still
Will.
am.
And still are.
Yeah.
Followed up by an interview on Howard Stern a few months later where she said,
Here's what's real. I'm not the kind of woman that believes that a man is not going to be attracted to other women. I'm just not that girl. It's just not realistic, right?
Right.
And just because your man is attracted to another woman does not mean he doesn't love you.
Right.
He does. That's not.
You
what it
agree
means,
with
and it
this?
Doesn't mean he's
You
gonna
agree with
act
this,
on
chat?
it.
by this point, Jada had said enough to make everyone believe that they were in an open relationship, which would get even more complicated when Jada got into her infamous entanglement with August Alsina.
Bro, with such a mid artist.
But before we jump into that, let me just clarify a few things. It's important to understand that Will says they separated in 2011 after Jada's 40th birthday disaster, but Jada says they separated in 2016. That's a huge difference, and we don't really know why they say different things. Now, in 2018, Jada and Will started sharing a lot of their life on social media.
I don't
Will
agree.
started posting vlogs on YouTube, and Jada started hosting a podcast/talk show on Facebook called Red Table Talk. alongside her mother and daughter.
I thought the
Jada
Red
gave her
Table Talk
hundreds
was
of
the
thousands
worst
of
things
viewers
they
insight
ever
into
did.
her life and relationship, and it was around this time when people started to realize the Jada and Will love was mostly a facade. More specifically, in episodes 11 and 12, which featured Will, accumulated tens of millions of views. These episodes covered a lot of the information that you learned in this video. People were amazed at their open and honest communication, but they were talking about their relationship like they were divorced, and they were also not wearing wedding rings. They even say that they aren't married anymore. They claim they are life partners and have redefined the definition of husband and wife to fit their unique union. June 21st, 2020 was another episode where Will and Jada sat down and did another extremely deep dive into their marriage. They laughed, cried, and seemed like the most normal version of themselves. And if you're confused, feeling, are they married,
Why do that
are they
in post,
separated, are
though?
they
I don't get
divorced?
it.
That's literally how everyone else felt. But just
do
8
something
days
about
after
it.
Will and Jada's beautiful one-on-one
crazy
discussion,
bitch.
August Alsina shared news about his
See Maya.
relationship with Jada that would shock the world.
I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation. He gave me his blessing. And I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life. And I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love for her.
August admits that not only did he fall head over heels into deep love with Jada, but he even had a conversation with Will about it and received his approval. This led to people calling Will a CUCK, but others just looked at it as an open relationship. The discourse online about it made Jada and Will sit down on her Red Table Talk show 3 weeks after August broke the news, where they attempted to address all the rumors, but it just got worse. Jada sits down in front of Will and tells her all about her friendship with August. August was a 23-year-old up-and-coming R&B singer from New Orleans, creating straight-up baby-making bangers. He had been suffering from a severe autoimmune disease that attacked his liver. The illness led to multiple incidents, including a collapse on stage in 2014, which ended up in a 3-day coma.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
He battled a degenerative eye disease that nearly caused him to go blind. When he met the Smith family, through befriending Jaden, August was at a very low point in his life. Jada seemingly took her friend's son under her wing with the intention of helping him heal, but it progressed into a full-blown relationship. They also mentioned that August came into their life when Jada and Will were broken up.
I really felt like we could be over. You
Yeah,
know?
no, we were over.
And then what did you do, Jada? I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space.
What?
And what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship.
Based on Will's tone and his demand for Jada to admit it was a relationship,
Yikes!
he's still upset. Even
As
though
a
this had
man, I
happened
couldn't
more
sit
than 4
down.
years ago.
I couldn't sit down and record this knowing this is gonna be posted. Like, tell the world about your entanglement, whore.
Because I wasn't sure I was ever going to speak to you again.
I know.
Yeah, like,
this is
the
rough.
fact that I'm speaking to you again is a miracle.
I would agree.
No, but it ain't for the weak at heart.
There seemed to be a little bit more pain in Will's voice. Will's obvious distress became a huge meme
call him
online
Smith
because
he
again,
lost his
nobody
will.
knew the long history of their complicated life partnership. All they thought was Will Smith's wife just got him on a podcast to tell him how much she loved another man. But there's a really interesting part of this interview that most people missed.
I'm going to get you back first, and then...
You gonna get me back. I think you got me back. I think we're good on that, okay?
Okay, that's probably true.
Will jokingly said he is gonna get her back, but then immediately admits that he probably had this coming after all these years of Jada putting up with him. What he did not realize is that he would not stop being an embarrassment after this moment. It was only going to get worse.
Damn.
On March 27th, 2022, Will and Jada attended the 2022 Oscars together.
Best
That
of
night, Will was
friend.
nominated for Best Actor for his portrayal of Richard Williams in the biographical sports drama King Richard. However, things took a strange turn after Chris Rock made a joke about Jada, who has spoken openly about having alopecia, a hair loss condition. Chris compared Jada to Lieutenant Jordan O'Neill, the star of G.I. Jane, notorious for her short buzz cut hairstyle. Will initially laughed, but then made it clear he didn't appreciate the joke as he stormed on stage and smacked Chris before telling him to keep my wife's name out of his mouth.
Was
From the
that
silence of the audience
chat?
and
Did you guys think that was real? There's so much controversy whether that should be staged, whether that should be, whether this was like. What do you guys think? Final word on it. Staged or real? That happened that long ago, yeah. Yes, it's real. It looked fake. They said it was for Grammy ratings.
And the look on
and
Chris's
to bring
face,
attention to
it
all the
seems like
movies.
the reaction was 100% unscripted. Despite this encounter, Chris didn't press charges, and Will won his first Oscar
looks
for Best
staged.
Actor on the night of controversy. This slap ignited the highest
Scripted.
overall engagements on Twitter in
That's what I'm
history,
saying.
and basically nobody was on Will's side. They pointed out he was initially
I was on
laughing,
Will's
then changed
side.
his demeanor once he saw Jada was upset. They used the entanglement situation to justify that Will is just Jada's puppet that does whatever she says. However, even Jada was confused by what Will did and said because she is not his wife.
I had no idea that that was none whatsoever. And I came as family. I actually didn't go to the Oscars as Will's wife. And I know for people that's weird.
Who the
but what
fuck
was
is
going on
this
to the
guy?
Oscars as Will's wife. And I
Who's this uncanny ass looking motherfucker sitting across from her interviewing her? Who the fuck is this guy?
know for people that's weird. But what was going on behind the scenes, Will and I had been like, we weren't living as husband and wife since 2016. I was happy he asked me to go.
Eyes are pretty.
The slap was
He looks
clearly pent up anger
uncanny.
from Will over the past 25 years. Jada never wanted marriage. Will wanted it, and everything went his way for the first 15 years. He got her everything he thought she wanted:
Damn.
the house, the fame, the
No.
money, the kids. But Will still didn't feel like she loved
No.
him. But Will was not going to get divorced again, as he saw his first divorce as his life's biggest failure.
In my adult life.
Yeah.
Divorce was the
scares
ultimate
me.
failure for me.
Yeah.
I've been hurt a lot in my adult life, but I
Same.
don't think anything touches the failure of getting divorced.
He became desperate to make this
Wow.
marriage work, even though Jada never wanted it. Then once the 40th birthday situation didn't
upset.
work, where he attempted to win back Jada's love, he said, "Okay, I've tried everything and you still are not happy. We're done, go be happy." But once she did that with August, he didn't like that either. And it seems like since then, Will has just been coping with this life partnership,
Damn.
confusing, half-open
Yeah.
marriage thing, as he goes on podcasts talking about how marriage is a spiritual journey, and writing in his memoir about how his ego destroyed them, and Jada was just riding the Will train, which was fine until he got embarrassed in front of the whole world with the entanglement situation and reading everyone calling him a CUCK. Maybe the slap was him trying to, yet again, win back her love, show Jada that he is her protector. No man is going to talk
Jeez.
about my wife like that, only for her
Divorce
to
was
say,
his biggest failure.
wife.
And he divorced his original wife to marry her. Look at the
I'm not
man
your wife
swear.
since 2016, and I never wanted to marry you. But today, Jada just keeps dumping salt on Will's wounds. She just released her memoir, Worthy, which spends a ton of time confessing a deep love and admiration for her late friend, Tupac Shakur. Jada and Tupac met in high school in the 10th grade, but also went to college at the Baltimore School for the Arts. Jada says they immediately
Jeez.
connected on a deep level when he said to her, "You're a beautiful woman, you're talented, you're strong."
But I heard this from Tupac's sources and the women that Tupac dated and all the interviews with Tupac and all this stuff that didn't happen, that it wasn't like that. Tupac didn't feel that way about her. So that's why I'm so confused about this situation, because I looked into it and literally she's the only one and everyone else says nah. And she's the only one who says she has this crazy attraction and this thing with Tupac. Just randomly though, late, like years and years and years later. She was a child. I know. And they weren't even the same age. Like, how old would Tupac be now? There's no way they're the same age. Tupac age, no. How old would he be today? He was born in 1971, so. $1971, how old would that make you? Or at least 50, 60. Okay, they were born the same
I
year.
respect you, and you are my girl. You're gonna sit right here, and I'm gonna protect you.
What up,
I'm
Mighty?
gonna make sure, if nothing else, you get what you need. At the time, Jada was still freshly removed from her traumatic childhood and rough neighborhood, while Tupac was still an
Dang.
innocent, bright-eyed kid who enjoyed studying, acting, poetry, and ballet. As time went on, their roles reversed, with Jada explaining how she was coming out of this life and he was going more into the life. By the early 90s, Tupac left the East Coast for the West Coast with aspirations of becoming a rapper. As his career was beginning to take off, so was Jada's. We were always trying to look for opportunities to work together. It was because of Pac that I got Menace to Society, and we were always looking out for each other like that. Now Jada says her and Tupac were never romantically involved, but the way she talks about him makes people think otherwise.
We definitely had this beautiful closeness that was really intimate, but never physically intimate. When you can sit with somebody and really feel like they see you, they understand you, they
yeah, but you guys were 15 and 16 years old. He said he left when he was 17. You never saw him again. What the fuck are you talking about? A 16-year-old boy was feeling you and seeing you for the first time. It's the realest moment ever. He really saw the real me. A 16-year-old kid, all right. I mean, we know she has a thing for younger guys. She's apparently got booed up with her son's friend. Crazy holidays. She wanted the pickle.
About you, and they're gonna be there by you no matter what. That was Tupac.
But it's also important to recognize that Jada has been talking about Tupac for years.
That was a huge loss in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because he was one of those people that I expected to be here. And my upset is more anger.
I mean, it was beyond friendship for us, you know, as far as just
the dream that really they found. I think they found a tie to it, but I'm not sure with the whole details of it.
We had.
But there was something in the news about it.
That once in a lifetime, so.
A lot of people try to negate her relationship with Tupac, but it was real, and even people who were close to Pac say that he felt a strong love for her as well.
Jada Pinkett, Jada's my heart, you know what I mean? She will be my friend for my whole life. She can have my one heart, my
not the friend zone,
kidneys, my blood, marrow.
He's probably just hiding from Jada. Bro, chat. That is my biggest fear, getting friend zoned on live TV.
But if you compare the way she talks about Will versus Pac, it starts to seem like Tupac truly captured her heart, and Will could never live up to those standards.
What made you fall in love with him?
I would say Will came at a time in my life where he saw beauty in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. And, you know, he saw a diamond in the rough and he kind of picked me up and blew off all the dust and said, I'm telling you, I'm going to make you shine, girl.
Well, you certainly did, looking at that rock.
Right, exactly.
Bro, I like how Piers Morgan is interviewing Jada Pinkett Smith. Like that's, like, dude, the world used to be so much more simple. Holy fuck, dude. Dude, life used to be so simple. Like, what the shit Piers Morgan does now,
really
wrong with friend zone.
And,
a girl you're into
know,
friend zoning you?
He
that sucks. There's nothing wrong with being friends with people.
For me.
Nothing about Will's
nothing wrong, but like if you're into someone, you get friend zoned.
It was the stability he provided. But even Will admits that he was resentful of Jada's love for Tupac.
Were you ever jealous of the love Jada had for Tupac?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
my God, that dude! And you know, and that was in the early days. She just loved him like he was the image of perfection, but she was with the Fresh Prince, you know. So it was like I never could, like, even we were in a room together a couple times. I couldn't speak to him, you know, and you know he wasn't going to speak to me if I wasn't going to speak to him.
Really?
He also wrote in his memoir, I hated that I wasn't what he was in the world, and I suffered a raging jealousy. I wanted Jada to look at me like that. Even Will's daughter was aware of how much Tupac meant to Jada. In 2012, when Willow was 11 years old, she posted a picture of the letter she had previously written to Tupac. The letter read, Dear Tupac, I know you are alive someplace. I think my mommy really misses you. Can you please come back? Can you come back so mommy and me can be happy? I wish you were here. I really do. Love, Willow. Many people consider Jada to be toxic, ungrateful, and unappreciative.
That's his daughter writing that.
A great man, father, and husband. Some people say Will is a pathetic coward who constantly lets his partner publicly embarrass him. Will knew what he was getting into. He knew all about Tupac. He knew Jada didn't want marriage, yet he still pursued it, and she rode for him for more than a decade. Now today, I guess they're separated. I mean, I think. They've made it very clear that they're...
Here's the crazy thing is, I don't think this story is super unique or crazy, like as far as love triangles, getting married for whatever, but just not the millions of dollars and success is involved.
They're never going to file for divorce. But that
crazy
doesn't mean
mess
that they're still
relationships with
together.
twists
Their
and
newfound,
turns,
confusing life partnership
making
as well.
decisions for
I don't even think they know what
other
it is.
people, other
One
reasons.
thing that is very apparent about these two is they
Embarrassments.
use this relationship to prophesize themselves. Them opening up about their marriage is somehow seen as more brave and more complicated than any
I
of
don't
us
think
since
it
they are
is.
rich and famous, which to some degree is true, since millions and millions of people indulge in their marriage.
not
But
his
all this
daughter,
does
no.
is, one, make them more money, and two, fill their egos to the brim thinking that they have some divine purpose to open up on behalf of all of the broken relationships and marriages in the world. Ironically, I think most of the
It's her
people who made
mama's
it all the
fault.
way to this point in the video agree that they do not, under any circumstance, want the type of relationship that Jada and Will have.
Oh, hell no. Fuck that, man. Jesus. Jesus. Well,